I was absolutely shocked when I saw this movie when it came down to the final act, the twists, the turns. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Isaac Joel, and today we're going to be breaking down MGM's latest film, Blink Twice, starring Channing Tatum, Naomi Ecki, and Adria Arjona. This film is a masterpiece, directed by Zoe Kravitz herself. This is her directorial debut. She co-wrote it, she directed it, she makes no cameo appearance in it at all. I was very impressed by the fact that she kind of took an outside position on the film and really wanted to focus on directing it and making sure the story was told to the best of her ability. And I really think she made every right decision for this film. I'm going to give my spoiler-free review on this film. I highly recommend that you go and check it out in theaters this weekend. But first, I want to give a massive shout out to Movies More Fun for providing me with this amazing Blink Twice hat. Zoe Kravitz cements herself as the next big director in the horror genre. A lot of psychological thriller movies have came out this past year. Some really good, very disturbing, some not so great in their concept and also their execution. I feel Blink Twice has the best execution done possible. Now, this isn't a story I feel that hasn't already been explored before from other directors in the last couple of years. However, this is the first time that this concept has been done right, correctly, respectfully, and to its best ability. I feel like Zoe Kravitz really brought maybe perhaps some of her own perspective and some of her own personal experience growing up in a house full of artists. In case you are unaware, she is the daughter of Lenny Kravitz, the musician, and she really is an artist. She is musically talented. This movie blew me away. I was very disturbed and uncomfortable, and I think that's the kind of reaction that you want to solicit from your audience, and she just did a phenomenal job. This reminded me of my first time when I saw Jordan Peele's Get Out in theaters on opening night. I was excited to see it because, hey, I was just a Jordan Peele fan from the beginning from his comedy career, and so I was curious regardless whatever kind of film that he wanted to make. But you walk into that theater and you walk out and you're just so blown away, and so like chills are going down your spine and you feel very disturbed. You just aren't expecting somebody of that caliber to step into something that feels a little bit unfamiliar without having any prior experience or knowledge in that, and then really just knocking it out of the park. This being her first film that she's directed, I was absolutely shocked when I saw this movie when it came down to the final act, the twists, the turns, everything that I thought that I was anticipating and expecting. She completely diverts audiences' expectations, and so I really feel like she is one of the best directors to come out of 2024, and I cannot wait to see what Zoe Kravitz does next. When I saw the film, I had no idea that Channing Tatum and Zoe Kravitz have a romantic relationship, and obviously they are engaged, soon to be married, husband and wife. This is the first time that they are working and collaborating together as husband and wife. Channing Tatum gives a solid performance as this rich billionaire with his own island, and he takes people, women, and takes advantage of them. This movie has a real message about men who have taken advantage of women for many years inside of the elite society, the rich, the powerful, those who have silenced their victims, trying to hush them with money or trying to force them to forget all their trauma. This movie goes at that angle and does it in the best way possible, making it a real horror thriller, something that just, when you talk about it, when you see it, oh my God, I really was like crawling in my seat. I was on the edge the entire film. My biggest complaint in the film is that Channing Tatum is so good in this performance that you really don't get to spend enough time with him. There's a point in the second act where his character kind of just disappears for a while, and you're wondering to yourself, Where is he? What is he up to? And the entire film is from Naomi Eki's character's point of view, and I loved her character, and I really do want to talk about that. But I felt like they were really holding Channing Tatum back a little bit for the final act. And oh wow, when it gets to that final act, to the last 20-30 minutes, and all is revealed, what they've been doing, how they've been living their life all these years, how they've been treating their victims in this horrific manner, it really is shocking and appalling. And I just was so disturbed by the film. But I would have loved to seen more of Channing Tatum throughout the rest of the film. He was very charming in the way that he was seducing Naomi's character. Naomi Eki, in my opinion, is the star of this film. I believe that she doesn't even have first billing on it. It is like Channing Tatum and then the rest, but he is great in the movie. She is the star. It is all from her point of view. She is the victim. She is the one that is inserted right in the middle of this trauma. She has no idea what's going on around her, and she really is kind of just living inside this bubble, wanting to forget, wanting to just not know, and kind of just be okay and accept what is happening, because it all comes with this luxury, with champagne, diamonds, partying, drugs, sex, music, everything that she doesn't have in her normal day-to-day life, that she didn't grow up having, everything that she's always envied and kind of looked from the outside, she's always wanted, and she's finally here. She has everything that she wanted in her life, and so nobody is going to just give that up right away. She's going to hold on to it as much as possible, no matter what. Even if her friend is saying something's not right, everybody's laughing, everybody's having a good time, nobody really seems to care or is interested in what day it is, where we are. And it really is kind of just mind-blowing when you go on vacation mode like that and you're like trying to unplug what the dangers are that can happen around that surrounding. And I love the scenario they painted with this film, putting this powerful group of men, which was a great cast. You have Christian Slater, Channing Tatum, and they are abusing their victims in a way that I will not discuss. This film does have a trigger warning right in the beginning, so if you're very sensitive to sexual violence and you do not want to watch a film like that, I do advise you to stay away from this, and that's okay. But if you're open to that conversation and you would like to see for yourself what exactly Zoe Kravitz, a female director, does with this material, it is mind-blowing. I want to talk about Adria Arjona, who recently starred in Hitman this past year with Glenn Powell. Everybody loved her performance in that movie. I loved her. I think she's a great actress. We need to see more of her. And I kind of just completely forgot that she was in this film. And I would argue and say that she is the third probably lead in the movie. Naomi Eki's character has a friend with her, and she's really great. But Adria does such a great job when, again, all is revealed and she kind of starts to wake up from this dream, this nightmare. I was transfixed by her performance in this movie, and I loved everything that her and Naomi did together, because by the time you get to the final act, they are kind of like the final girls. They're the last ones standing. They're the ones fighting for their lives. They've been doing that the entire movie, and this is the moment where they have to choose whether it's going to be them. What makes this film so intriguing to me was the cinematography, really complemented with the editing. This is a movie that knows exactly how to pull on tension. The sound design, everything you hear all the little details, from the bottles opening, people rolling up blunts, lighting up their cigarettes, smoking, having a good time, all the little details in the background while a character is having a conversation with someone else, you're hearing all of that because you know that that is all that person cares about. That's all they're thinking about when they're in this environment. That's all that they want to do, is just have a good time and forget all of their problems. And that is like a huge message in this movie, is that, is it better to forget? Is it better to forgive? Nobody really wants to forgive you. Nobody ever will. You can say sorry as many times as you want, but nobody cares at the end of the day because you're just a horrible person. And so all you can do is just forget. And so that becomes a core element throughout the entire film. They are doing something to the women. They're drugging them. I don't want to tell you exactly how or what they're doing, if it's in the food, if it's in this, if it's in that. That is part of the mystery. How are they getting to these women and kind of causing them to forget, because they wake up the next day not realizing what happened the night before, and they just want to continue partying and having a good time. And so that becomes a real nightmare. Again, without spoiling the film, I want to say I love the ending. Horror movies are very controversial because you can love what's going on in the story, but it's always when it comes to the last 5-10 minutes when the character makes a certain decision and you're like, oh man, I wish they did this, I wish they done that, why did they do this? And people always kind of walk away with their own opinions on what should have happened and what should have transpired. And people get a lot of complaints with like M. Night Shyamalan movies or Jordan Peele's films, like it was great but this should have happened. I want to say with this film, it has one of the most perfect endings possible. Everything that you want to come out of this happens with it. People who get their revenge, I love that. And so I was one of those people in the theater that like stood up and started clapping. I was like so proud of the ending. If anything, this movie should win an award for best title card of 2024. I am a huge cinephile, and so I love when movies and films do phenomenal title card sequences and try to come up with a creative and unique way to show the title of their movie. When are they going to show it? How does it appear? Is it in the beginning, the middle, the end? Some people like to drag it on as long as possible. This film makes an attempt at that, and the movie started immediately. It immediately starts right when the two characters meet each other, Naomi and Channing Tatum's character. They're at this elegant event when they come across each other, and it's such a romantic moment. But as the movie progresses, the group of friends all go to this island where they're all secluded and alone, and they take a picture together. And when that picture is being taken, the title card pops up, and it is so amazing how they did it, and it is like a split second that if you really blink you'll miss it. And so I feel like this is the best and most creative choice of a title card sequence in any film that I've seen. And I love what they did recently in Alien Romulus, but blink twice, it's so simple, it's so elegant, you really don't have to overthink it, and I really think they nailed it with this movie. Blink Twice is a phenomenal directorial debut from Zoe Kravitz. I'm going to rate it 8 out of 10. Channing Tatum gives a raw and strong performance that is really terrifying when it comes to that last 20 minutes, and I love what they do with his character. But I would have loved to seen more of him throughout the film. However, the point of view from Naomi Eki's character is so palpable. I love the discovery and how she unfolds the entire mystery for the audience. As she is learning everything, you are learning everything, and I love that about this film. It really is very suspenseful. It has a Alfred Hitchcock aesthetic to it while also maintaining modern horror at the same time. I think Zoe Kravitz is the next psychological director that is going to be making a lot of interesting projects, and I really hope that we see more from her. I highly recommend that you go and check this out in theaters. It's out this weekend. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. My name is Isaac Joel. I'll catch you next time.